Well, I am starting in a very unusual place. I don't normally do this, but I am starting in the crawl space. Um, there's no insulation underneath here, but it should stay relatively okay here. What's great is I don't see any, so this naturally would have water runoff down here if we had water issues, but I don't see a lot of water intrusion. I see some wicking right there. I would expect some level of it, but it doesn't look like it's a lot. So that's good. No insulation part kind of sucks, but that would be an easy fix in a place like this. This light wouldn't come on. Let me zoom in a bit and I can turn my light on. Whoops, here we go, do that, and then light, and then zoom back out. Water heater, again, no insulation. Except on the sides. We do have it on the sides, which is where your biggest problem would be anyway. Water tank, AC unit. It's relatively dry down here. It's not too humid, so that's nice. All right. Now we're in the garage. Go ahead and close this up for that. Now we're in the garage. This is a door for the back door. Or sorry, to the porch, or not the backyard with the fence and yard. This is a nice little workshop. Now, this is underneath the living room, and it's very important to make note of that because what I'm noticing is the lack of, this is probably got some insulation in here. I can't be 100% sure, but this might be all the insulation you have for the living room. I don't believe there's insulation in the roof in the living room. I'm walking back over here because I forgot to turn this light off. Want to be courteous. You can tell they've had some water damage coming in here and soak up on this door, so that door's gonna need to be gone or replaced at some point. Okay, give me 1 second. All right. Lower level, you probably have some water intrusions that's not being mitigated properly right here. They got a nice concrete diverter, but I don't think it's being diverted properly past that point. As far as this patio goes, this porch, there's a lot of rot underneath. This can be pressure washed and salvaged, but I just want to make sure you're aware of that. Oh, you know what? You know what? That is not underneath the living room. The crawl space we were in was underneath the living room. This is all underneath the patio. Interesting. That's why they got the metal diverters here to run water off from what collects on the deck. That makes sense. One thing of note is we have this monstrous span without a beam. That is definitely not code. They might have some supports through here though, and that might be how this got away with it. It would make sense with these giant beams right here. There's probably supports underneath each one of these. But if it's just this, that's a bad idea. It didn't feel that way. The deck felt pretty secure despite the mildew and mold underneath. As for the property, we got one neighbor over there. It looks like you have mountain views between there too. The house itself, it's really cute and unique. Definitely give it that. This goes to the backyard where the crawl space is, or the other door to the garage / crawl space is. All right, let's go in here. I'll break up the video here and I'll do an inside video, but I want to do one quick thing first. Okay, now that I look at it, no, a lot of this is still where the garage is. So that is important to note. We were underneath the garage. Only a small section of that is what we were just walking under, and then the rest probably up to here, or maybe even all the way over there. Actually, wait, I can see the garage door right there. So yeah, right about here over is all in that garage. Then from here on back, probably all the way to the back, is the crawl space. All right, I'm going to break up the video and do another one for the inside.